Chapter 15. The Dream. 3 hours later, Jin had exhausted every question that she could think of to drill into Illy's idea, and a few that had only occurred to her in the moment. Atla had done the same, though many of them were derivative, even if they helped to clarify a concept. Illy truly knew her work forwards and back. Her idea, or her dream as she called it, was to evolve handheld computing into quantum speeds. If she could do this, and she believed she could by using the substrate, it would truly change the face of communication in human space. It would be as big a leap, if not bigger than when computing leaped from punch cards to microprocessors. "So what do you need from us?" Jin asked. "I need your unparalleled expertise in Sentite. You did help to develop it for ideal use by humans, but for all intents and purposes it remains a toy, not much more than an album to store memories." Jin's mood clouded at the diminishment of her father's bequeathment, but there was no reason to believe that Illy had made the comment knowing how close to her current personal affairs it may have been, so she let it slide. "Perhaps, but it has been a valuable tool in other arenas, not just those that have the potential to expand overmuch," she agreed. "Oh?" Illy inquired. "Well, there have been benefits to recording historical events by people who have lived them. The unique ability to record and transmit emotions of Sentite has added a depth to historical and political events that hadn't been possible before. I've even read accounts where opposing political factions have been able to come to a greater understanding because of the ability of Sentite to impart another's perspective. It brings to mind the old adage about walking a mile in another's shoes." Atla added, "I read an opinion piece a bit ago about Sentite's potential for entertainment as well, though it is prohibitively expensive still. Imagine experiencing a blockbuster film through the perspective and emotion of the hero, or even any of the characters you might want." As much as Jin thought the application of mass entertainment with such an important technology distasteful, she had to admit that it was much more commercially applicable than that of political communication. "It sounds like the crystal's potential may have further reaching application than you implied, Jin," Illy added. "Yes, I suppose if you look at it from the economic angle, I hadn't seriously considered it before, but I'm also not into the entertainment industry as others." Nodding acknowledgement to Atla's passion. Illy sat in contemplation for a moment. "I don't want to appear to take sides, but I think that Atla's onto something," she started. "If we could achieve a micro-quantum processor based on Sentite, it may be possible to transmit such an entertainment experience through it without the use of a physical crystal. I mean, we're talking about much less data than a whole life's experience, such as what the larger crystals seem to be able to contain." "Did that article say anything about how much data would be needed to be transmitted for such an application, Atla?" "I don't think so. It was more speculative than anything else, though it would have been at least an order of magnitude bigger than what a two-dimensional film would need. We have smaller Sentite crystals here that can store up to a petabyte of data and transmit it at about 500 gigabytes per second, but they're small. The larger ones, like those that are used for memory storage and transfer, hold much more, nearly an exabyte in some instances," Atla explained. "There are theories that the crystals can hold much more. I think you even wrote about that once, Jin," Illy said, focusing her attention on Jin. "Well, yes, there are theories that Sentite isn't making full use of its potential. I wrote about it a few years ago, positing that the crystalline structure of Sentite wasn't optimal for further storage potential, and that it could theoretically be made denser, but we don't have the technology to do so. The pressure and energy needed, as far as I could come up with, would have been too great to reproduce in the lab. And so the line of research was ultimately defunded for lack of progress." "I think we may want to dig up that research again," Illy hinted. "I did mention that we have some new funding, and it seems that increasing the capacity and transmission potential of Sentite is paramount to quantum applications. My team has been experimenting with various superconductors for quantum computing for years, but the best results we've been able to achieve is through using transmons. But we still have yet to break the 5 exaflop barrier set by CDAC back in the 30s. I think we can double that at least with Sentite," Illy finished.